In this video we're going to be looking over this Olympus XA2 35mm film camera with the companion A11 flash. And my goal in this video is to put this camera through the types of tests that you would want to do if you had it in your hands and give you that type of a assurance of the camera's condition. And so in order to do that, I have a set of button cells for the camera, a AA battery for the flash, and a scrap roll of film to test things out. Now none of these come with it, they're just here for our testing purposes. But let's get started by first loading the camera with the batteries. And a US penny is a good key to get that battery door open on the bottom of the camera. And so we then drop these are just AG13 cells, and they fit and they've got the right voltage, and they might not be ideal for actually shooting pictures, but they will work for our testing purposes here. And then over here on the flash, we take this off, and then we drop this AA battery right in there, positive side up, and slide this on. Now when I first got this camera, I should say there was a little bit of signs of some battery leakage down inside here, but I cleaned it out, and ever since there's been absolutely no problem. Just drop in a battery and it's ready to go. So now let's go around the back here and open it up, and as we look inside we see some signs of some light seal transfer. Light seals on these are often really bad. Now this doesn't look as bad as some. They usually need to be replaced, and this one, it's a little questionable. This camera I believe it's close to 40 years old, and that foam just doesn't hold up. But let's put the scrap roll of film in, and yeah, I should have left that up. Okay, and then we'll pull the little tail over and get that started in one of these slots, and then make sure that as the film is advancing, well, that didn't work too well. Get it in there, okay. Okay, now we're engaged. So what we're going to do is open up the cover, and now normally you would have to wind in another exposure at least before, just in order to get rid of all the film that's been exposed through the loading process, but I'm just going to pop off the shutter here. And we heard and saw that worked. And so I'm going to advance this again, and then on the bottom here we can see there's a battery check, and when we use that, this little light comes on, we hear that sound. And then there is also a self-timer setting. So let's use that self-timer. Okay, there it is, beeping, and we see the little red light, and we'll hear the pitch change too. Okay. Now, if we wanted to take flash pictures, there's a place here where we slide this over, and watch right here, it's going to pop up this little clear box. And what that is the indicator for the flash. And pretty soon, because we've got a battery in here, that will glow orange, and then it will tell us, in fact I just saw it come on. I'm going to turn off this light so we can see it there. So the orange glow indicates the flash is ready to go, and so we're going to advance the film here again, and now I'm going to be able to see it. I don't know how well you'll see it, but we'll see the flash go off. It certainly did. To make it so that it doesn't flash again, we just push that down. Now another thing that I thought would be useful to do is to check out the metering here. Now this is reading the light level through here, and so if I point this right here up kind of toward this light, we heard a very quick shutter speed. Now if I hold that in the same orientation and then I turn off these lights and have it dimmer here, we'll be able to listen for it. Much slower shutter speed. So we know that the electronics are functioning in there. This camera is what you'd call a zone focus, and right here you can pick for long distance and closer up, and I can see the lens moving here a little bit as I do this. And one thing that this camera has, no matter where you leave this set, when the door closes and opens back up, it leaves it in this kind of intermediate position, which makes it almost acceptable for general shooting. But if you know you're going to be taking pictures of something far away, you might flip that up or a little closer there. Down here is where the ASA or ISO is set. That's right here. And other than that, that is just about everything I wanted to show. So I'm going to pop off the remainder of these photos. And I think this was kind of a short roll. Well, we're just going to pretend we're at the end of the roll. And then there's a little button right here. We push that. And then we close this and lift up the rewind crank. And manually wind the film back into the housing. It's a little, kind of a funny little crank, hard to get hold of. Okay, now we're sure it's there, so we go around the back and pop that open, and there is the film all wound back into the housing. The other thing I should show here is that this camera can be used without the flash attached, and it's pretty easy to take that off. Just undo this screw here. If you know you're not going to be doing any flash photography, the camera is significantly smaller and lighter to just carry this part. And cosmetically, this one is quite nice. Often these are very scuffed up on the back. This one has almost all the paint, just a little chipping down here on this edge. The original strap. Everything looks pretty good. The flash looks pretty good here, and that just reattaches right there. And just tighten that screw back in, and then it's also electrically connected as well. So, fairly nice example of the Olympus XA2 35mm film camera.